Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Moms Like Me, sponsored by Support Now. I'm back with one of my favorite moms, Kasie Marek. This is the third part of a three-part series. Her story is just that layered and that really, frankly, just beautiful in the sense of all that she's navigated and overcome. So I'm super excited to pick up on where we left off last time. For those of you that haven't listened to the first couple of episodes, the first episode we talked more about Kasie's journey with thyroid cancer as a young teen. And then in the second episode, we talked about her navigating the challenges of a son with a need for a heart transplant. And so obviously both experiences, very, very life-defining in terms of how you show up for your family, for yourself, and how you show up for the community. So for Kasie, I'd love for you to start with, for those that are curious around how Noah is doing, how he's feeling today, I'd love for you to start there.
We are in such a beautiful stage. Noah's doing so good. It's just so much normalcy. Yeah, it's pretty wild. It was a rough year post-transplant, lots of medicine changes and very immunocompromised. So getting sick all of the time, in and out of the hospital, weekly appointments, just a lot. But we have finally hit like a very sweet spot, and he's in kindergarten. He rides his bike. He is active, just doing all the normal things. We are finally at a point too where we've spaced out our appointments. So, he still is in therapies and stuff, but we are not having to go to the hospital that often. And yeah, we're just so grateful. I find myself more so in these days, just stepping back and being like, wow, like just always so filled with gratitude to his donor family. And yeah, it's been awesome. He's doing really great.
Kasie, how strange is it, or is it strange for Noah to be back in school, acting and behaving like any normal kindergartner, for people not to know what he's been through? Is that strange for you?
Yeah, it's strange. I mean, Noah was always sick. He was born very sick. And so it's truly been like getting a new Noah. Like he has energy we've never seen before. He's also learning how to like regulate that energy, and that's been a whole teaching thing for him too. It's just been very such a journey. And yeah, it's hard because he's at school and he does have a nurse that goes with him, but we try to get his life as normal as possible. But also they have to know that he has these conditions. And so it's finding a balance of, I don't want to keep him in a bubble, and I don't want his whole life to be defined that he now has a heart transplant and, he has other conditions. So yeah, I'm just still trying to figure it out, but it's great.
For other parents that might have a kiddo in the same situation, though, I am curious, how do you navigate with other parents, with other moms? Do you wait to be asked in some way, or do you volunteer that information?
It used to be a lot harder, I feel like, because Noah was, so sick, and it's an invisible illness, right? Like if you look at him, like you can't really tell. Like there was times where he was very purple, or, his coloring was off, but the typical person also still would not be like, oh yeah, he has half a heart. So, but I also, I was very angry. I was still in such an angry spot. And now, I've healed from that. I usually don't say anything anymore unless it's brought up. And again, it's kind of become less of our everyday life. Like, of course, there's so many things, but before it was like he was on the pump all day. Like I had to bring it up because there were other things
Right.
that, he was getting sick a lot, like vomiting. And yeah, now I don't really have to bring it up. So if it comes up, it comes up. But, it's also kind of like a heavy conversation too. And there's so much that I think the typical, person who hasn't been through any transplant, it's like, "Oh, I have a new organ, and now that we're good." And that's just not how it is.
That's an interesting perspective to go from being noticeably sick, where it's an obvious thing to talk about, versus an invisible illness where people might not know. And another wonderful reminder of you never know what anyone is going through, to be gentle, because Noah, and frankly you and your family, are prime examples of there's a lot more that you might not be able to see here, that's adding to the joy and perhaps the challenge of raising him. I'd love for you to share a little bit more around how these experiences have shaped you. I'd imagine your view of support and community is profoundly different than maybe someone that hasn't had to go through all that you've gone through. How has all of these experiences shaped you, and how do you show that to others?
I mean, I think at a young age, as soon as after I was diagnosed with cancer, I wanted to give back, and I just wanted to find the purpose of why, and maybe that was healing for me, but it was, I also just wanted to help others going through it. Naturally, for myself, when we got Noah's diagnosis, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I have to help other moms now." And it was such an interesting change, right? Because I'd walked alongside of so many mothers who had sick children. And now looking back, I'm like, "Oh, I wish I had the knowledge of what they needed in that moment," right? Now, but it's been a full circle moment, right? Like now I can get back to families and just show up. For me, it was just like just showing up. Show up with a coffee, a hug, anything. I think a lot of people are like, "Oh, I just don't have the money to give," but there's so many other ways that you can give. Um, it doesn't have to be financially.
I think that by nature, people tend to really open up to people that have experienced similar things. Do you find that people are more willing to be vulnerable with you, and are you able to uncover more because they see you as almost a trusted advisor type that's further along in the journey?
Yeah, again, social media is an amazing tool now. Like we can connect with so many people. So I've connected with so many moms. A lot of new diagnosed with HLHS moms have reached out to me and just needed advice. And I was that mom before, so it's such a blessing now that I'm able to, because I know how important that was for me, were the moms that were 2 years ahead of our current situation, when I was pregnant. And there was just so many things I didn't know. So they would write out questions for me to ask. And those were such helpful things. So now, that's what I offer to other families too is, hey, like, let me know if you need help or you have questions or you want me to do this, or if you want a second opinion, I can connect you with this doctor. And so, yeah, it's just been very beautiful. And I've met some really amazing people.
Yeah, I think it's the power of community, power of social media in a good way. And social media doesn't always have a good reputation, but it can be used to find a very targeted group of people that are more likely to understand the realities, the day-to-days that parents and moms specifically might be navigating, especially with heart-related issues, and things that are ever evolving. I want you to remind people of the foundation, what you've built, if that might be a resource for others that are navigating similar things.
Well, I started Casey Helps Kids when I was 14, 15. And it started by giving a teddy bear to kids in the hospital. And truly just giving them something that could be with them when their parents could not. So for me personally, when I went through cancer treatments, I had to be isolated. I was not allowed to be around anyone. My parents could not be in the room. So my dad actually gave me a bear. And it was so special because it gave me comfort when nobody else could. And so for kids going through surgeries or any of that, just giving them a teddy bear. And then it turned into financial assistance for families going through treatments or any type of life-threatening illness. And then we started having fashion shows all across the country where the kids would get to be in the fashion shows. And so right now, obviously COVID put a huge damper in having in-person huge events. So we're really getting back into the swing of things now, but we're doing a lot of care packages and financial assistance also. And then Laughing After Lemons is something I started after Noah. It's just providing hope through our story. It's a way to connect others and, just provide hope after you've had lemons in your life, that it is possible to laugh after tragedy and after grieving and after all of these things. So,
any other just last minute advice that you'd share? I think you shared a little, like one piece that I picked up just now is it's a journey and you should still look for the joy. You should still look for opportunities to laugh. Any other pieces of advice specifically for moms that are in this season?
For me, I've always said just day by day. Sometimes right now I feel like I'm week by week. But really when things are tough, sometimes it's second by second, and really just reminding yourself that, like, not to look too far into the future, like just right now, focus on right now. And sometimes that's really hard to do. I mean, I even was thinking about it yesterday, Noah's doing so great, but I know this is a season. It's a great season, but I know that there is going to be another time that's going to come that's going to be really hard. Yeah, but there's nothing we can do about it, right? And so it's really just focusing on like how beautiful right now is. And
just be present, enjoy the blessing that today is, or that this week is. Try not to worry about tomorrow's problems in this moment, because you've worked so hard to get to this moment.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, thank you, Kasie, for giving Support Now so much time to tell your unique journey. Again, I think it's such a wonderful example of perseverance and really making lemonade out of lemons, because these are not easy cards to be dealt, and you've dealt with them so beautifully. And so in some ways, you've dealt with them in a really just real way. It doesn't sound like you ever sugarcoated it or ever tried to create a narrative that wasn't there. This was really hard for you.
Yeah.
This was really hard for your family, and you've sat in what felt hard. You're now sitting in what feels beautiful, and I'm so grateful again for you, for everything you do in the community, for everything you do, and even for Support Now through this podcast and more. As a final reminder for those that are listening that might have situations similar to Kasie and more specifically Noah, Support Now is a wonderful resource to do all those little things that Kasie talked about. The gift cards, the helping somebody, move hospital rooms, to galvanizing support for the full family. It doesn't have to be money and meals for a family to feel seen, loved, and supported. So if you know someone or feel like you are that person, please consider Support Now as a solution, as a platform to bring your community together. Again, Kasie, thank you so much. I'm so glad we got a little visitor on this podcast as well.
Yes.
It's a great present here. And again, I think it's so emblematic of you just moving forward despite all the things. That little blessing right there on your lap. Thank you, Kasie.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a good day.